Let's dive into React Context, a powerful feature for managing state in your React applications. Today, we are going to explore how to create and use context effectively. Understanding context will help you write cleaner and more maintainable React code. So, what exactly is context in React? Context provides a way to share data between components without manually passing props down at every level of the component tree. This is particularly useful when you have data that needs to be accessed by many components, regardless of their position in the hierarchy. It simplifies state management, making your code more readable and efficient. When should you consider using context? There are several common use cases. One is for managing the theme of your application, such as switching between dark and light mode. Another is for handling user authentication state, where you need to know if a user is logged in and access their information across different components. These are just a couple of examples. Context is beneficial whenever you have global data that multiple components need to access. Let's walk through the process of creating a context in React. Step 1 involves importing the createContext function from the React library, and then calling this function to create your context. For example, you might write import createContext from React, followed by const theme context equals createContext. This creates a new context named themeContext, which you can then use to share theme-related data throughout your application. Now that we've created a context, let's see how to provide values to it using a provider. The second step involves wrapping your components with the context provider. Inside your app component, you can use themeContext provider to wrap the components that need access to the theme data. You pass the desired value to the provider using the value prop. For example, if you have a theme state variable, you can set the value prop to theme, like so, themeContext provider value equals theme. This makes the theme value available to all components wrapped by the provider. Let's explore how to consume the context value within a component using the useContext hook. The third step involves consuming the context with useContext. Inside your component, import useContext from React. Then call useContext, passing in the context you want to access, such as themeContext. This hook returns the current value of the context, which you can then use in your component. For example, const theme equals useContext themeContext retrieves the current theme value, and you can use this theme variable in your component's rendering logic, like so, h1 current theme, theme/h1. Let's look at a complete example to consolidate what we've learned. On the left, we have the context provider. Here, we create a user context and a user provider component. The user provider manages the user state using the useState hook and provides it to the user context. On the right, we have using context. The profile component consumes the user context using the useContext hook. It then displays a welcome message if a user is logged in, or a login prompt if not. This example demonstrates how to create and use context to manage user authentication state in a React application. Finally, let's cover some best practices for using React Context. First, use context for global state that many components need, such as theme or user authentication. Second, don't overuse context, as it can cause unnecessary re-renders. Third, create custom hooks for cleaner and more maintainable code. By following these practices, you can effectively leverage context to manage state in your React applications. If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Visit CodeLucky.com for more such useful content.